The Colts get a big time win in Houston, winning 31-20. But in this one, Anthony Richardson goes out with a concussion in this game. Happened in the second quarter when Anthony Richardson took the run to the outside, scored a touchdown. But as he was crossing the goal line, the safety came over, hit him, and as he fell back, his head whipped back, hit the ground, and he actually came back after that, played a series, but you could tell in that series, that was the only series the Colts had of their first, I think their first 6 series they got points out of, except for that one. And you could kind of tell during that series that, if you go back and look at it, that he doesn't really look like himself. But a good thing to note here is that when he got back to the sideline, he let the medical team know that he wasn't feeling well. Nobody caught it, nobody flagged it, because after he hit his head, he kept rolling. He got up. He celebrated with his teammates. Everybody thought, okay, he's cool. And he ended up letting the medical team know, hey, not feeling well right now. Goes back, gets evaluated for concussion. Turns out he does have concussion. Now, the good news is that Drew Ogletree got a concussion last game, but he was able to get cleared and was good to go for the game. Even though he was inactive, he was good to go. So hopefully we'll be able to get Anthony Richardson into practice, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then go into the game on Sunday. But they could end up doing the same thing that they did with Drew Ogletree, where even though Anthony Richardson's able to practice, they might go ahead and give Gardner the starter reps this week. Let Anthony, keep practicing this week if he's able to, but then just let Gardner be the starter. And maybe you have Anthony Richardson as a backup, just so, if you need to have Anthony Richardson there, you can play him, or you let him sit like they did, make him inactive like they did Drew Ogletree, and have Sam Ehlinger be the emergency quarterback. It wouldn't be the greatest situation. The game would be a lot less fun. Lamar against Anthony Richardson sounds so exciting, especially for what we've seen these first couple weeks. But it'd be nice to see Anthony Richardson be able to finish a game, and that there is going to be a narrative that the national media is going to form all week long, is that Anthony Richardson, for as good as he is, he's not going to be able to stay healthy because of the way he plays. And, he's only 2 games in. He already has to change the way he plays. You're going to hear a lot of that coming up, and he's going to have to debunk that, right? Like they said he could have went back in the game against Jacksonville, but the fact that he didn't, this is 2 games he's unable to finish. One because of a knee, one because of a concussion. Now, first of all, need to take care of the head. He's just a rookie. It's only his 2nd game. Don't want concussions to start stacking up early. Okay, we don't need that to happen. And one of the reasons I'm hopeful for Anthony Richardson being able to play this upcoming Sunday is because, the helmet that he wears is specially made for quarterbacks to take that bump on the back of the head. So hopefully, it did enough. Hopefully there was enough there to soften the blow, and he'll be good to go for this upcoming week. Really hoping so. But Gardner didn't look bad either, right? So you start looking through the numbers here. Anthony Richardson went 6 for 10, 56 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, had the 3 carries for 35 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 untouched rushing touchdowns, untouched until he got to the end zone. That defender might be getting fined for that. Anthony Richardson had already crossed the goal line, he was definitely going in, but the defender hit him. Quarterback ends up with a concussion. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a letter in the mail from the NFL. Then you look at what Gardner Minshew put together: 19 of 23, 171 and a touchdown, no interceptions. He did a good job taking care of the ball. He was taking what the defense gave him, right? Took a lot of time off the clock, especially on that first possession where they went down and scored a field goal. They took a lot of time off the clock on that one. I believe it was, 6.5 minutes when the Texans got the ball back. So doing an incredible job, killing time. They did a good job of eating clock near the end of the game also. And a big part of the success we were able to have today was because of Zack Moss coming back. Okay, Zack Moss was the only running back that touched the ball in this entire game. Receiving, rushing, doesn't matter. Zack Moss had 18 carries for 88 yards and a touchdown. He also had 4 catches for 19 yards. If you started him in fantasy, you were very happy with what you got today, and you should have. What we saw last week from the running backs was unacceptable. I didn't even see them on the field. I honestly don't think any other running back even played a snap. I never saw 35 on the field. I never saw 27 on the field. I'm almost certain the Colts did not have another running back. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do going forward, right? Jake Funk going to go back to the practice squad at some point. Evan Hull will be back at some point. Coach did confirm that a few days ago. And Deion Jackson obviously isn't a guy. So with Jonathan Taylor on his way back, are they still going to go out? Are they going to try to bring in a guy like Kenyon Drake? Right, he's going to be cheaper than a guy like Kareem Hunt, and you can play him more in a utility role. You don't have to give him heavy usage since he's 31 years old. So Kenyon Drake feels like a good option. He's been here. He's familiar with the guys, familiar with the offense. But there is also Kareem Hunt. Then you have a three-headed monster, Jonathan Taylor. You can ease him back into things with Zack Moss and Kareem Hunt being able to carry some of the load, but that seems like a little much, right? If you get Jonathan Taylor back, that feels like a little much, especially if Jonathan Taylor starts to perform well. You want to have the money so that you can pay Jonathan Taylor. So it'll be interesting to see what we do with the running back position. I'll continue to look into that. Might talk about that in a video this upcoming week. So then you look at all the receivers, right? We move to the receivers. What do the receivers do? Overall, they're the quarterbacks combined for 25 for 33. That is excellent, dude. Efficient day. They were able to push the ball down the field a couple times, more so Gardner, obviously. He played longer, but specifically that pass to Will Mallory, finally getting a guy open downfield. The thing about Gardner Minshew is that he doesn't throw as hard as Anthony Richardson, so some of his passes are a little more like, ooh, make you a little more nervous when they're going downfield, but they're a lot more catchable, right? There was a couple catches in both games that receivers just couldn't keep their hands on because Anthony Richardson throws the ball so dang hard, right? But again, looking at the receivers in this one, Michael Pittman, another good day, 8 catches, 56 yards. He moved the chains a lot. Big day for the Colts. We knew coming into this season that would be his role. He did great in that today. Josh Downs also 4 for 37, did a good job moving the chains today. Good little safety blanket. He does so good at finding the spaces. Does so good at creating separation. He's really good rookie. He's just going to continue to get better as this year goes on. Okay, Will Mallory shows up, has 2 catches, 49 yards. Alec Pierce had a couple catches, 2 for 28. Saw him getting a little more involved. Kylan Granson had the receiving touchdown, 3 catches, 16 yards, and a touchdown. Mo Alley Cox and Isaiah McKenzie each had a catch for 22 yards total. So good day by the offense, nice and efficient. Wasn't super explosive, but what we've seen in the first 2 weeks, like we're starting to get the basics down. Okay, and the Colts did not allow a single sack while the defense had 6 sacks, including the very last play. You should just let the time run out, dude. You guys were already losing. There's 1 second left at that point. What are you going to do? You can't come back 11 points with a second left. So, should have let the time run out, but they didn't. So, DeForest Buckner ends up getting a sack to end the game. So, it makes it 6 sacks total for the defense in this one. Defense played incredible again. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect. It's the NFL. There are playmakers. Guys are going to make plays, right? CJ Stroud, a really good quarterback. We can sit here talk trash about the Texans all we want, and we do plenty. But at the end of the day, CJ Stroud, very good. He has weapons that nobody knows, but they will because they are also very good. So, Texans have some promise, but the Colts got to win on this day in Houston. Also, Ryan Kelly out with a concussion. We'll see what he's able to do. Wesley French in the game came in as a replacement for Ryan Kelly. So we'll see if Ryan Kelly's able to go. If he's not, see what they try to put together, right? Does somebody, maybe, Arlington Hambright, does he have experience there, right? Or do they just let Wesley French continue to go at center? What I really want to do this week doing film study is look at the offensive line. And what I'm telling you is, admittedly, like of all the positions in football, the one I know the least about and like the technicalities of it is the offensive line. Okay, I know enough to know who the good ones are and who the bad ones are, but the technicalities I'm not crazy on. But I will be looking into the offensive line this week for the Colts and trying to figure out what we're doing good, what we're doing bad. I saw some reviews on Will Fries that even though he had a low PFF grade in week 1, he actually performed pretty well. And I've seen some film on Twitter that other people are putting out that I'm buying into that. So I will look into it this week. I'm going to definitely be looking into the offensive line, see what I can pick up, try to get in. I'm going to see all this takes time. That's really the only thing. Doing the whole film thing takes time. But I'm going to try to get videos of individual guys, so that we can go through one by one and see how the offensive linemen are doing after 2 weeks. Because in week 2 they did really, really good. So going forward, I feel confident with that group. I feel confident with the fact that this offense is figuring it out. We knew the defense was going to be good. They're doing their thing. The offense is getting the basics down, and those explosives will come eventually, right? You see what they did in Philly. It took time for that offense to start being boom, boom, boom all the time, right? After Shane Steichen started taking off play calling duties, it obviously took them to get AJ Brown also, but it's only week 2. We've done good so far. We've put up 21 points the first week, and that was the offense only putting up 14. Defense put up 7 in this one. The offense is responsible for 31 points. You love to see that, man. Week 2, it's just going to continue to get better. And listen, man, Shane Steichen's the real deal. All the decisions he made in this game, he's a play caller and he's the head coach. He did fantastic. Okay, perfect game from Shane Steichen. Well, we can't say perfect. Nothing's ever perfect. Okay, very good game from Shane Steichen as head coach in his second game as head coach. Coach gets his first win as an NFL head coach. And now and then we get the Ravens. A tough game next week. It'll be tough to see if he gets his next win. We're going to be paying close attention to injury statuses this upcoming week. But the Ravens look pretty good so far. So it'll be a tough game. We'll have more previews on that. I'll start deep diving into the Colts film whenever the All 22 film comes out for that. And I also have other ideas. I'm trying to come up with more ideas, more stuff to push out to you guys, trying to come up with, like different segment type stuff, trying to find different ways for us to have fun here on this channel. So stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe with notifications on so you get updated on all the Colts news. And with that said, as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.